Hello, I'm Kevin Tame, and welcome to the Hacktivist. This is Reflections, and I'll be playing the CI Moons deck against Val. So let's get started right away. So this hand right here, I don't really want to hold on to it because I want to look for like my turtle backs or some cheap ice, and particularly I really want to find violet level clearance. But I didn't see it in this hand, but I have 2 turtle backs, which is good. So I'm playing Val here, so I have to assume Ma and Film Critic and Hacktivist, basically all of the things that I don't like. And this is really one of the hardest matchups for me. So I go ahead and I install these 2 turtlebacks, and I don't res them because I really want my opponent and the advanced assembly lines, because I want to just put a piece of ice over HQ. But I don't want my opponent, I want him to come and check these, and I want him to waste actions coming and looking at these things. I could res it, but I don't think there is an advantage to resing it here. I make him spend 4, and it kind of lets me know he's going to be a runner who's going to be checking a lot of stuff, so I can't kind of trick him to spam things out. So this Hacktivist meeting is a real pain for me, and I have to work hard to clear it because I don't want to lose cards in my hand because I don't have a lot of recursion. So my play right here is to work really hard to try and score out without having to res anything to clear this, or look for one of my currents. This indexing was kind of problematic, and I'm really glad he whiffed on it because him getting a lot of agendas would have been a problem here. So I think it's kind of important to resist the urge to play this clones are not people right here. It's tempting to want to play it out and clear the current, but you really want to hold on to it for your scoring plan. So what I really wanted to do was I wanted to try and find a piece of ice that I could jam a agenda through. So I click one draw looking for a piece of ice. And what I do is I find Enigma, which is perfect. I don't know which breakers he has. I do know he has Paperclip in the bin, but I know Enigma is like a good one for me to try and squeeze stuff out behind. He puts down MK Ultra and Paperclip, and so I'm feeling a little bit even more sure that I want to play this Enigma. This is a really critical time in the game. He's just installed 2 breakers, so he's taken quite a bit of a tempo hit, and I need to clear the Hacktivist. I have the right piece of ice and a Vitruvius that I can score the next turn, so the best option for me is to jam this out and try and score. It's gotten actually even better by him installing those 2 breakers. So what I'm really hoping to happen here is that he runs and checks server 4, but he doesn't do that. He plays a knifed instead, which is kind of a bummer because he can come in and do some damage to my hand, trashing stuff, stealing agendas. It would have been ideal if he had run the server so I could tax him that click, but the benefit here is that I am able to score out the Vitruvius the next turn, and the damage isn't horrible. And what I'm trying to do now is set up for a Moons play. So I go ahead and I install Moons, I install a turtle, and then I go ahead and I protect HQ because I know he's going to be running it a lot anyways. He's been aggressive this whole game. Even though I can't res the Ashigaru, it's still a threat to him, and he doesn't have the money to be able to break stuff like Architect, so he doesn't want that to fire. See, now I'm in a good place. I'm starting to recover a little better, but the problem here is he's put down a Hacktivist, and so the only reason I'm installing things is because I want to get more counters on the Maryland. And I can't res that, so this right here is kind of like a turning point in the game where my goal here is to try and score, try and get to a point where I can have enough credits to be able to score out. I can't res this piece of ice. I can't use the Moons. I can take the risk to res the Maryland campaigns, but he's just going to go in and trash them next turn. And And this mining accident was perfectly timed for him. I had to pay it, and I wasn't able to res anything at that point. So, but if I had given him the bad pub, he would have been able to really handle my assets. So my plan was just pay it, credit up as much as I can, and then trash the things that I can't deal with. I know I'm not going to be able to res a lot of ice in this game because I just can't afford it, and he's keeping me down. So I think that paying that mining accident was really important to this match. Once again, I can't res the Ashigaru, so I'm just really banking on the fact that he misses my agendas when he runs HQ. So I was really tempted at this play to res the Ashigaru, but what that would have put me in a position where I wouldn't have been able to recover the next turn. And so I was just banking on the fact that he wouldn't steal an agenda. If he had come in a few times that turn, he probably would have got some turning wheel counters and stolen an agenda. So that was, if he had run a few more times, I might have resed it on the next turn, but I wasn't in a position at that point to do it. Now that I have my targeted marketing, it's like a perfect time for me to start resing my stuff and hopefully try and get away from him. So yep, just charging up my moons here. I debated if I was going to res my my Maryland campaigns and stuff because I didn't want him to drop a Hacktivist next turn. But I took the risk, and I was like, this is going to be okay. And I had some good pieces of ice on the board, or assets on the board, like that he has to trash, like Sandberg and Jeeves. So I'm hoping this next turn, at this point, that I am able to recover. So this is actually the point where I res the Ashigaru because I want to keep him out. And I have enough counters on Moon that I'm able to recover. And I'm also able to res these Marylands to help me recover as well. So I take my counters, and now I'm setting up for the play to try and score another successful field test. Part of the problem is I don't have a Lakshmi Smart Fabrics, so I have to use Sandberg and a piece of ice to score. So what I did here was, I think, actually a really big mistake, and it could have cost me the game, is I put the successful field test behind the Enigma, and then I put the Sandberg behind the Loki when they should have been reversed. Because what I want is the Loki protecting the successful field test, because then I could just mimic the Ashigaru. So I kind of got just lucky here since he didn't end up checking it. Another thing that actually really benefited me here is that he ran HQ and he really stretched himself thin to open up another window for me to kind of lock him out of the game. I have to admit though, I got super lucky that he didn't hit any agendas at that point. This was a really nerve-wracking part of the game for me. So here now I get to score my successful field test. So I res my Jeeves and I just score away. And then what I'm trying to do here is have enough money to be able to double biotic out the next turn and be able to score the clones are not people. So I'm hoping that he doesn't trash the Jeeves, and I'm putting down this advanced assembly lines because I want to have the money to be able to score this out. He's in a position now where he had that huge tempo. It was a huge tempo hit for him because he ran into HQ and he spent a lot of money to do it. So at that point, it's just a straight score for me. So I think I got pretty lucky in some of the accesses that he had on HQ. There was that one where he ran in with the Ashigaru and paid through the Ashigaru and saw 2 cards, where I don't think he should have hit an agenda at that point. So that was really lucky. When you play these Val matchups, you have to play a little differently than the other matchups. A lot of the other matchups, they can't handle your assets, and so you can just keep spamming them out. Val, with the bad pub, and with the ability to get another bad pub, it can really destroy your board. So Hacktivist, the way I played around Hacktivist this game is I just tried scoring out or using my targeted marketing. I don't necessarily, you have so little recursion, I think it's best to try and score out to get rid of it, which is kind of a pain. Another real problem that you have is you only have 9 ice, and so if they rebirth into Omar, they're getting those accesses on HQ and R&D, which can also be a real problem. Typically in these Val matches as well, you have to consider Film Critic because you rely heavily on Lakshmi smart fabrics. So if they have Film Critic, one of your entire scoring plans goes out the window. I think with Mining Accident, you pretty much have to pay it every time, because if they have that extra bad pub, a lot of your assets are 4, 5 is the most expensive at Jeeves, but you have Maryland's at 3, you have Turtlebacks at 4, and the more that you give them, they are easily able to handle your assets, and then you'll never make the money that you need to be able to score out. So pay the Mining Accidents. I know it's painful, you're gonna have to pitch some cards sometime, but it's super important to pay that. Honestly, like, I don't know if you're favored in this match, and so when you're able to win this match, it feels pretty good. Anyways, thanks so much for watching this. If you have any questions, thoughts, feedbacks about the CI Moons versus Val matchup, please message me, send me a comment on this video. And yeah, I had a good time with this one, and this is one of the most difficult ones for me. Have a great day, and I'll see you around.